Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whatever time zone you may be in. This is Off the Grid Podcast with Aiden and Jared.
Jane and unauthorized access to the truth.
And you can reach our podcast on YouTube as well as Apple Podcasts. And you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And anything else? Oh, your music.
Yeah, my music is on SoundCloud now.
Did you change your name to the thing? Or is it still Off the Grid Music?
Yeah, it's still Off the Grid Music. So
Okay.
yeah, you guys can find it. I actually put links in each video on YouTube so that you guys can see that. So yeah, if you have trouble finding the actual account, just go to our videos. It's at the very bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it says like our intro music and stuff. So yeah, just find it at the bottom. That's how you can find it. So yeah.
Yep.
Alright, so what are we going to be talking about today, Jared?
We're going to be talking about time travel.
Oh, this is, okay. I don't know about you, bud, but I have been wanting to talk about this for so long.
Yes, time travel is, I love time travel. Love talking about it. Love any TV show that has to do with time travel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great. I love to just watch a good time travel movie. And it boggles your mind. Like, if you watch, say like Doctor Who or something, it boggles your mind with the different time travel, like, laws that are basically in place.
Yeah, and there was this other movie, Primal, I'll talk about it later, and there's this other one called, it's called Primal, and it's very confusing. Like, okay, how many timelines are in Doctor Who usually? Like, just, like, how many do they show? Like...
Oh, there's numerous.
Yeah, like...
It's crazy.
Yeah, and think about Primal having 9. It has 9. Like, it has doubles, it has, just a whole bunch of confusing stuff. So, yeah. Time travel movies are confusing, but they're also very fun to watch because, the plot, it's not like a normal movie where it's like a plot is predictable. Because time travel and stuff, they got so many timelines that you don't know what the heck's gonna happen,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, you can get lost in a time travel movie and be like, what where are they at again? And you're constantly asking the person that you're watching the movie with.
Yeah, like, even the most basic questions can go out the window,
Oh, yeah. Like Doctor Who, you think, okay, I'm following along.
And then
all of a sudden, boom, you're lost.
Like, what? Where are they again? Yeah, so, Jared, everyone thinks of time travel differently, right?
Yeah.
Scientists rely on theories and laws of science to help explain what time traveling is. But most of the listening audience agrees that time traveling is done using a device or a time machine, as it's usually called, right?
Mm-hmm.
So some examples would be TARDIS from Doctor Who,
or the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
Yep. Which, okay, if you had to pick one of either, which one would you pick? Just right now to get that.
Definitely the TARDIS, because the TARDIS is ginormous. I mean, has infinite amount of rooms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how could you not want to have that?
It has
over
a pool.
The DeLorean.
Like it has a pool in
and
it.
Plus
and
if you watch the movie, the DeLorean gets smashed, right?
Well,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
so they have to use a train in the last movie. They have like a time traveling. Literally, they have a time traveling train from the Old West, and it hovers, it flies. It's oh my gosh, it's hilarious. Doc Brown is like in a suit and like a top hat. He's like, "Good day, fellas," and he just goes off in the distance of the time traveling train. It's awesome.
But as far as we know, the TARDIS has so far been indestructible, so
yeah.
I would rather have the TARDIS than the DeLorean.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Even though
the DeLorean is a cool, like, it's a car that time travels, that's pretty cool. But at the same time...
The car itself sucks, though, like, in real life. Like, the car, like, it has horrible gas mileage, the pedals don't freaking work, the steering's horrible. So I don't know how the makers of the movie were able to have the stunt driver drive that thing, because it's absolutely horrible.
Like the actual vehicle itself in real life?
Oh, yeah, it only sold about, like, I don't know, but I think it only sold about, like, 100,000 units.
Wow.
It was, like, yeah.
That is pretty bad.
People get it for the nostalgia, though, so, I mean...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, okay, but anyway, yeah, most people think that time travel is only, like time machines and TARDISes and stuff, but, as you'll find out, time travel is very real, and there are ways to actually do it.
And most of this is all theoretical, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's nothing that is for certain.
Well, the way I look at it is, theoretical doesn't always mean false.
No.
Like, theoretical just means we can't see it yet. So I believe that what we're going to talk about today exists. We have to look farther. And I think that's, theoretical doesn't always mean keep in mind, guys, theoretical doesn't always mean false.
Right.
So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting what we're going to talk about here. Okay, so, first way, well, first of all, let's, talk about this, okay? There's going to be, for you, people that don't, know a lot about time travel and stuff, things are about to get very confusing, just warning you. Mm-hmm. Things are about to get very
there's confusing. There's a lot of terms in this podcast that could be confusing, but we're going to try to explain it as the best we can. Mm-hmm. To the best of our ability.
Yeah, and me and Jared have researched our butts off. Mm-hmm. Like, because this topic, we can go on for, I don't know how long, days, probably.
Yeah, and I failed to mention at the beginning that this is going to be a part 1 and part 2. We're going to have one over parallel universes as well. Because it goes hand in hand with time travel.
Yeah, so time travel, in movies at least, often results for people to get trapped in other parallel universes, so...
Same thing with parallel universes, though. There could be... That's all theoretical stuff.
Mm-hmm. What's funny is that those could exist, too. We wouldn't know.
Yeah. We're just theorizing here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so... First method of time travel that is actually real. Well, that could be real. Mm-hmm. Are wormholes. Now, wormholes, obviously, wormholes defined as a theoretical passage through space-time that could create shortcuts for long journeys across the universe. So basically, what this is that, Jared, we all know what black holes are, right? Yeah. Black holes suck in a bunch of matter, and they, nothing can escape it. It sucks in matter, it, destroys it. It's so strong that, your teachers have always said that it, destroys light, but what they don't tell you is that it's so powerful it even destroys molecules themselves. It rips apart subatomic particles. Wow. So it's insane. And back to wormholes though. Wormholes, they were first theorized in 1916, and this is how a wormhole works, okay? Say you're in the Earth orbit, right, Jared? And you want to travel out of the Milky Way galaxy to go to our nearest neighbor, the Andromeda galaxy, right? Well, normally you wouldn't be able to, because, as a lot of people know, it's a humongous distance. It's a humongous distance. Okay, now, you guys obviously know this, but I'm going to define it anyway, for anyone that doesn't. A light year is obviously how fast light travels in a year. But, keep in mind, though, that we don't have light speed, so...
Yeah, that hasn't been quite invented yet. This is all, stuff in movies and...
Yeah. So, I think, Andromeda's, somewhere around, 100 light years away. So, think about this, guys. This is how big the universe is, okay? Think about this. It would take 100 years going the speed of light to reach Andromeda. So think of how long it would take with a normal space shuttle or a normal ship, that we have. It would take a lot longer. It's insane.
Yeah, technology is not quite there yet.
No, it is not. It's, it's just we have years until we can come up with even harnessing light at all, in any, fashion at all. So, yeah, anyway, normally you wouldn't be able to travel that galaxy because you would die before getting there because it would take years and years to even escape our galaxy because it's 100,000 light years across, so, but say you find a wormhole while on your journey. Say you're like, traveling, and all of a sudden you find a wormhole near Saturn, And now, interesting fact also, before we continue, a wormhole is not actually a hole at all. It's not a circle.
It's more of like a funnel kind of shape, isn't it?
It's actually a three-dimensional version of a circle. It's a sphere. Actually, it looks like a sphere. Like if you were to actually look at a wormhole, people would think that you would see like a huge bubble. Basically, that's what it would look like. A bubble of stars, flowing around in like a huge, vacuum, So it would be like you, entering a bubble, basically. Going into that, so that's how that would work. Which is really interesting because...
But doesn't a wormhole as well look like... Because I've seen pictures that look like a funnel. Then there's like a tunnel in between the two connecting mouths is what they call them. And so they look like funnels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're connecting the two between like a tunnel.
Yes, but you gotta understand that the funnel part is only the tunnel though. Like the actual wormhole itself, if you would actually look at it, it would look like a sphere because it's literally warping space and time around it. So it's hard to explain because we haven't actually seen one, So I mean, keep in mind, guys. Again, it's all theoretical, so
And there hasn't been definite proof that wormholes do exist because this is from Einstein in his theory of I think it's relativity. His theory of relativity.
Yeah, but we'll get into
we'll get into that later.
Oh, if you think this is confusing, wait until you get to relativity. This stuff's gonna be
That was just the tip of the iceberg.
yeah. Excuse me, guys. So let's say you find a wormhole while on your journey to whatever planet you love, and I'm lost. A wormhole would have 2 points, with a black hole at one end and a white hole at the other. Now, what is a white hole, right? Have you heard of these white holes? Have you heard of what these are?
No.
Okay. Well, picture it like this, okay? A black hole doesn't allow anything to escape, right? It only takes in. While a white hole only spits out. It only ejects matter. But it ejects it at a rate that, like, the force that a black hole pulls in stuff is the same amount of force that a white hole ejects. Do you catch what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it would be like hurricane force winds, you know?
Oh,
like,
okay.
so, it spits out matter, it spits out stars, it's dead stars, it spits out, suns, spits out, just a bunch of stuff, And, so a wormhole is a combination of these two things. Like I said, black hole at one end, white hole in the other. Sometimes people think that wormholes can be both black holes or both white holes, but usually it's a black hole at one end and a white hole at the other.
Because one takes in, one spits out.
Right, you would need to have that in order to form a wormhole.
Yeah,
because you can't have both. You can't have both NO or both.
Because then, that wouldn't work.
It would collapse in on itself. Yeah. You see what a wormhole would do, though. This is how wormhole how it actually works, though. Like, we've talked about so far the different ends, but you see how it actually works here. What a wormhole would do is that it would actually bend space around it by bringing these two galaxies or points together. So basically, say, like I said, galaxy at one end, galaxy at a whole nother end. What a wormhole would do would go like this. It would literally bring the galaxies closer together. Like say you have 2 cups of pop, right? And one is at one and one's at the other. Well, what do? You bring them closer together. You set them beside each other. That's basically what it does, but on a much larger scale. It brings the space, the volume of space itself closer together so that it creates a shortcut. Yeah, so in essence it does create a shortcut in space and in space-time through the universe which it can travel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very cool to talk about because, that would be amazing, if we could actually do that because, rather than having to, go, hundreds of thousands of light years, you could just enter a wormhole.
Yeah, and then be just jump to another universe, basically.
Yeah, part of the universe. That would be amazing.
But theoretically, the size of wormholes would be too difficult to travel through. The size of a wormhole is on microscopic levels, so making it impossible to travel through. There could be some wormholes that are stretched out, but most are a very small size.
Yeah. And this goes back to the fact that, these wormholes that could be stretched out, they would actually have to really... space itself doesn't really allow that, so it would have to be by us, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Which, but says we need a massive amount of energy for that to happen. We need a lot of energy for, to even open it up to the size of a, Coke can. We need a huge amount of energy. For a Coke can size, let alone a spaceship size, So it's very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, and the, stability of wormholes would also not be stable enough for travel.
Mm-hmm.
There would be extreme difficulty with keeping one from collapsing on itself.
Mm-hmm.
You would need something called exotic matter to keep one open. But keep in mind that exotic matter is not to be confused with dark matter or antimatter.
Yep.
According to Wikipedia, exotic matter is matter that somehow deviates from normal matter and has exotic properties. A broader definition of exotic matter is any kind of non-baryonic matter that is not made of baryons, the subatomic particles such as protons and neutrons, of which ordinary matter is composed.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, guys, what this is say, like you said, you have normal matter and you have this exotic matter. But a definition of maybe, an example of exotic matter would be okay, there would be a molecule in this thing that we haven't found anywhere else in the universe, normal things are usually made up of nitrogen, hydrogen, and that kind of stuff, but exotic matter would have, let's just name a fictional molecule, LZ256-N or something,
Yeah.
And we wouldn't know what the heck that is. You know, so it's like stuff we don't know about, and it's everywhere. It's not America is everywhere. You know, we just have to go looking for it.
Oh yeah, it's in our own, you know, on Earth.
Yeah,
it's on Earth. So you think, oh, this is some, you know, spacey, timey-wimey
stuff. The other thing.
Yeah.
And here's what's really creepy is that I was hearing linking this back to not back to, but talking about the Bible here. And if you don't recall, last week we were talking about, you know, sin and stuff, you know, how that relates. And some people think that matter itself is evidence for demons. Because some scientists think that demons, dude, they feed off of antimatter. Like, somehow they feed off of like antimatter and like dark matter for some reason.
Oh.
Like, I don't know if God designed it that way, you know, but like, I don't know. Like, it's probably some crazy scientists, but they said that like, what Sun is doing, you know, you've heard of Sun, you heard me talk about them a lot, you know, LHC, you know, Large Hadron Collider.
Yeah.
There have been reports about whenever they turn that on, some reason, there was someone that, killed someone else. Like literally. Like, when they're exposed to matter, like, antimatter or whatever, they, go nuts.
Maybe it has, like, some psychological effects.
Yep.
That they don't know about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, well, I mean, they gotta put 2 and 2 together here. I mean, if that's causing someone to go out there and kill someone else, then there has to be some psychological effects.
And they've said that, you know, I don't know if I agree with this, but I mean, they could. Because Sun is a very powerful organization, as you probably know, you know. They said they've weaponized this kind of stuff. They said they've been using it to cause, you know, like the riots in Egypt and stuff, and like they say it's being used everywhere. Which I don't know if I believe that. It's probably not true, but I mean, I think antimatter stuff could have a psychological effect though. Because like we don't know how it works, you know, we don't know what it's capable of.
Right.
So I mean, I think it could. I mean, what do you think? Do you think antimatter could have like a psychological effect on, you know, people if they're exposed to it for too long? You know, if they're
Yeah.
Yeah, because think about that. Those scientists are exposed to it every day because of smashing particles together. So, yeah, and people actually think too that antimatter is found in our own bodies. Then we produce it. We produce very, 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 very small quantities of it, but it's quantifiable, which means that it can be measured. You know. So it's weird. It's really weird. That's a whole nother podcast for a whole nother thing, you know? Antimatter in the human body. But yeah, I just thought that'd be an interesting thing to note here. Yeah, so...
So to try to break exotic matter down a little bit, just so then maybe it's more relative to our understanding. An example of exotic matter... I can't speak. An example of exotic matter would be the example with a coffee cup and a donut. Okay, so you're like, what? A coffee cup and a donut. Well, imagine being able to morph a donut into a coffee cup, or vice versa. Well, it may sound crazy, but that's essentially what it is. Being able to change one thing into another without changing the physical integrity of the object.
Yes.
But, moreover, you cannot simply change one object into anything you want. For example, a baseball could not be stretched into a baseball mitt because the mitt has holes where the baseball does not. That's why a coffee mug, which has just one hole, could become a donut, but a donut cannot become a pretzel, which normally has 3 holes. Which is like, you think it's mind games or something.
Yeah. But this is what you want, though. Well, I mean, not one. I mean, obviously, yes. But this is what's called, it's also known as programmable matter. Have you heard about this?
Yeah,
Have you heard about scientists trying to work with this kind of stuff, programmable matter and stuff? They've used nanobots and stuff.
Yeah, I think I did.
Using programmable matter, they were able to actually turn... I saw this. This is insane. They were able to turn a bunch of pebbles into a chair. Like, they were able to form a chair. Like, they I don't know how they did it, but, like... What it's comprised of programmable matter. I think it's different than what Jay was talking about here, but it's like a bunch of metal, you know? But it's like metal in its gooey form, if you know what I mean. You know, have you seen like, Terminator 2? I
mean, like when they melt down, they can melt down metal.
Yeah, have you seen a clip from Terminator 2?
Yeah.
You remember that robot that, T-1000s? You guys probably know what I'm talking about here. The robot that melts down to a puddle, and you can move around in that puddle. Okay. Yeah, that's basically what that is. You know, and they can, like, make it into anything they want. Like, like I said, they made it into a chair. They can
So do you
theoretically
think
make it
this-
into a gun.
So do you think this programmable matter is different than exotic matter in a way? Like, there's a
Programmable matter is made by us.
Huh?
Programmable matter is made by us.
Oh.
That's why it's called programmable.
Yeah.
Because we can, you know...
Exotic matter would be a natural thing.
Programmable matter is actually exotic matter, but we control it.
Oh.
Did you know it?
Mm-mm.
Like, it's like both antimatter and, like... It's very complicated, but yeah. Keep in mind, guys, this is theoretical, and these people that came up with these theories are, like, probably, like, 100 times smarter than we ever could be, so, you know. Like, they know what they're talking about, so...
And, you know, I mean, it's also studied, this type of stuff is studied with DNA, too. With, like, the twists and the different twists and turns of DNA. You know, because you can only do so much with the,
That's the thing that I was talking about when I said that, they think the antimatter is found in our bodies. That's the kind of thing that I was talking about, Jody. Remember when I said that, you know, matter can be found in our bodies? This certain, you know, type of matter and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
That is what you just said right there. Like, basically, you know, they've had evidence of it in DNA. So that is crazy. Like, that's just, like, okay. Then why can't we do anything with it then? Like, why can't we just, you know, fought and out comes a wormhole, you know? Like,
oh no, run for your life!
Oh gosh, we destroyed the Earth!
This thing's sucking in and everything.
Oh man.
Clear the room!
Okay.
Actually, literally, you better clear the room. This is dangerous.
Yeah, and like, oh, okay.
Wait, so everyone comes out your mouth? And...
Oh!
Because remember, there's gotta be another end.
Okay, I was, dying laughing about, something before we started. It was, I can't say it because it's, I just can't say it, but it was hilarious. Me and Joe was talking about something. It was, oh man.
It was hard to get him to calm down before the podcast.
Let me just say it was about, no, never mind. Yeah, let me just say it was funny. Yeah, so, dude, it has to come out another one. That's hilarious.
That's true. Oh.
Sucking it in because it's a black hole. Someone made a joke about, Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
And he said his mouth is like a black hole.
Mm.
Like, it's hilarious. Oh my gosh, it's funny. Yeah, so, yeah, but in all seriousness, so this stuff is really interesting because I've always thought that, you know, back to the DNA part,
yeah.
Like a year ago, these scientists, they were actually able to see live how DNA, replicates itself.
Okay.
And they've always thought that it replicated like the, helix, you know?
Yeah.
But it turns out, now I think this is evidence of, you know, God or something, you know? I mean, you know, because as you know, we're obviously Christians, so I think it's evidence. It replicates like a heartbeat. DNA actually replicates like a heartbeat, dude.
So you don't wait. Okay, so what you're saying here is DNA doesn't look like what we think it is. Like
not at all.
Like wraps like that.
No, it looks like actual like strains of spaghetti. Like, okay, have you ever seen like what goes straight up down like a roller coaster? You know, when it goes straight up down and then straight. That's how it replicates. It's like. And then it's insane. Like, it's nuts. And, like, it looks like it's just nuts. Like, this discovery, like, they had them, like, we thought that our science books in school were right, but they're not. We can't even begin to understand
goodness
how DNA
gracious,
works.
you get into high school and you get a textbook, and this textbook could be, like, from 2009, and you're, like, in 2018.
And there's a lot of advancements in, science.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. We shouldn't even, that's why schools like our school, like, is now using the internet and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Because actually, like, I think textbooks should be, you know, just thrown out, because they, you know...
Well, I think that they should have online textbooks where they could, which, there's a lot of online textbooks, and
yes.
It's much more lighter to carry around, because, you know, it's on your laptop.
And actually updated.
Yeah, and they can update it from the internet and change different things like, oh crap, you know, even something like a typo. If there's a typo there, like you spell something wrong, you just go in there and fix it.
Yep. And they have, it's awesome. Yeah, so, I think online is good.
Definitely better than buying textbooks.
Yeah. And plus it's like, oh gosh, it feels like a ton weight in here.
Now, I'm gonna go on a little rant here.
Oh yeah, here we go.
So, on the subject of textbooks, there's plenty of textbooks in college that you have to get. And I don't like doing that. I hate it.
Wait, Jared, you're saying none of these are online at all?
You can get online, but you still gotta pay for it. So, on the verge of, like, prices and stuff. In one of my classes that I had...
Hold on. But when you pay for college, it goes through with that, right? It covers that, right? Or do you have to pay for that separately?
Textbooks are separate from the actual college tuition.
Are you serious? Dude,
No,
what the
I'm
heck?
so serious.
That is just bullcrap. What the heck?
Yep.
I think that should be counted in. With, you know... Wow.
So, like, I buy all my textbooks.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
One of my classes, for example, my communications class, that professor, she had the textbook listed on the website.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a database, like, for the bookstore. So, you can go on there and be like, oh, okay, I need this book for this class. I need this book for that class.
Yeah.
Well, that's supposed to help you plan ahead. Well, I got in that class, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm all ahead. I bought all the textbooks even before the first day of class. I'm ready this semester. And I get in there on the first day, and guess what? She's like, this is the textbook that you need to get, and it was a different one than the one I had. So I did not rent that textbook because I couldn't. There was no option to rent it off the bookstore, and I couldn't go on, like, Chegg, like that website, which is very good.
Is Chegg?
It's a book rental service.
Oh,
it's really good, really cheap, by the way.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's pretty bad because you couldn't rent it anywhere. I couldn't find it. It was almost impossible. So I had to buy it from the actual Kent State bookstore.
Oh, that's probably so embarrassing.
And so it was like $80, okay?
Holy crap.
I know, overpriced, right?
For a freaking book.
Yeah. And then,
then
come to it that was the wrong book. So I bought a book.
You wasted $80 on a book that you didn't even need.
So I'm thinking, well, at the end of the semester, so I was really mad at that point. I was
man, you were like...
I'm like, why didn't you tell the bookstore that that you changed books?
It just requires you to walk in the store and say, hey, guys, you're changing books. Can you...
I just wasted frickin' $80.
What are you doing?
So now, alright, so... Fast forward to the end of the semester.
Yeah.
I'm trying to return all the books that I rented from Chegg and, what have you. And so I got this textbook that I didn't even open it. It's still in lamination and everything. So
and it is not Chegg's fault, right? It's not their website's fault, right? Like
No, they just didn't sell that for some reason, that book. So
okay.
That's why I got it from the bookstore.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's not their fault. It's just the freaking bookstore. I mean, you would think that they would,
Well, it's not even their fault. It's the professor's fault because
for not telling you.
No, they didn't tell the bookstore that she changed books, and she left it at the same. That was maybe the old one from last semester, but she didn't change it.
How do you know it's not from like 2001 or something?
I don't know.
Like seriously.
But like I said, that's just like with high school and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, I go back to the bookstore and I'm trying to sell my textbook back to the store.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I only get $30 back for that $80 book.
What?
And it was wrapped up and everything.
What?
I know.
That's like a new video game that you try to return and they don't...
Yeah, you go to GameStop and you get like $2. You
that's actually how GameStop works, actually,
This is a hit on GameStop here. This is a joke that's all over the internet with GameStop.
Oh my gosh.
You go back and you're like, wow, I got the $60 game. I just played it one day. And you bring it back in the GameStop and you're like, how much do I get for it? You get $10. Oh. Okay.
Oh, power to the players not, right? Like, seriously.
What power to the players do you get? There's no power to the players.
Power of debt.
Power of debt.
That can be a new meme.
Power of debt.
Cha-ching!
Everyone exceeds in it.
No.
Succeeds.
Succeeds.
Exceeds.
Exceeds.
Succeeds.
No. You know the drill. Accession is succession.
Oh, that's GameStop in a nutshell there.
I can just actually imagine someone walking into a store and then actually being like, sir, you're only gonna get $10 back. What the heck?
It's like, it's so true though.
I just paid $60 for this game. Why are you making me do this? This is unfair. I'm never buying anything from GameStop again.
Yeah, that's why they're going digital. That's why GameStop's losing so much money.
They're gonna go out of business. My dad thinks they're gonna go out of business in like a year.
It's just like Kmart, that, you know, it used to be big as Walmart, now it's like nothing.
I don't even bring up Toys R Us.
Yeah, that
Oh my gosh, Toys R Us.
And I was the guy that waited outside Toys R Us at 6 a.m. for a Switch. What if Toys R Us was gone? I may not have a Switch today.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, to get the Switch, I'm gonna go to GameStop. I'm gonna see how that goes.
And another thing, did you know the owner died like right before Toys R Us went out? The owner of Toys R Us died.
That is creepy.
So about the same time as the business itself.
Maybe a broken heart because he knows that his business.
Well, he was like 90-some years old.
I know, but still, like, you know, like that's weird. Anyway, though, yeah, like,
that was a fun little rant there. Okay.
Yeah, freaking GameStop.
And my books.
Yeah, one more thing though. I used to love GameStop, and now they're just...
Yeah, that's why I buy all my games like on the eShop or whatever, what have you. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad says the actual discs are gonna become like non-existent in a few years.
Well, it's just like with DVDs. No one buys DVDs anymore. Who buys Blu-ray DVDs? Like they used
to. I actually only because listen.
As I say that.
No, listen.
My bad.
That's the reason. Because what if your movies get deleted, you know, like...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like, if you don't back them up and...
Yeah, you do have, like, that corrupt file thing on your computer, like, what the heck? I just saved my... Like, I just spent $30 on this game. I lost my 10-page paper for my college writing class.
Yeah! I should have put it on a... No.
I need
you to put it on a CD, man.
Should have put it in the cloud.
Oh, my God. My family in my basement... Oh, my God. They have about thousands of, like, burned CDs that they've, like, burned.
What?
Like, it's like the songs they've loved over the years, you know. My mom and dad, they just have thousands of burned CDs, and it's just like, they have names written on them from, like, one of them was, like, Party Country, something like that. It's just, like, the weirdest names. It's funny, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think that, okay, Blu-rays are cool.
Yeah, Blu-rays are awesome, yeah.
I like them for,
being scratch resistant, first off.
Yeah, and scratch resistant, and... I don't know, having that physical thing, like, in you're like, this is my collection, you know?
Yeah, like, you can show it off to friends, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just wanna, hey guys, this is my collection, look at the screen. Now you can be like, you wanna have the dramatic case open. This.
Yeah.
This is my Star Trek collection. The episode where Spock dies.
Oh no!
Yeah, so
anyways.
Yeah. Enough of that rant.
Alright, let's move back into time travel, shall we?
Yes, please.
Okay, so,
let's jump into this. Nah, never mind, that wasn't... No, never mind.
Wasn't well planned.
That doesn't... No, it's not at all.
Okay, yeah, let's not jump into the wormhole, shall we?
Let's
try to avoid that.
What's a time pun?
Time...
It's time to stop. There we go.
Ain't got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay.
Okay, so in essence, wormholes are just defined as allowing one person to travel from one location to another at a faster rate. It is not necessarily involving time travel alone, though. Yeah, the wormhole would need to be twisted and turned in order to produce a time-traveling wormhole.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, say, like, okay, so, like, there's two ends. Like, you got a tunnel.
Yeah.
Okay, think of like, I got a good one here. Think of a regular straw, okay? You got two ends to the straw.
Yeah.
Well, you just go one direction, you know, it's not like you go, you know, like, you don't loop around anywhere. But if you have a bendy straw, you bend, and you'll go somewhere, you know, it might go to a different location at a different time.
Yeah, boy.
So, like...
I like how you explain this.
So, do you like that explanation a little bit?
Oh, dude, that...
Okay, so...
You know what?
Thank you. And, yeah, so I think that's more of... Wormholes are more of just, like, one-way kind of thing. I don't know, because you can't really go two ways, because one spews out the other end.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it's a one-way street.
Alright, well, can I have some time here to explain my, you know...
your space-time thing?
Yeah, that, and also just, you know, because I love this in particular. I don't know about you, Joe, but I spend, like...
Oh, heck yeah.
A lot of time actually researching, like, wormholes and stuff, and space-time and alternate universes and just like...
Before we move on to this, I got something funny.
Oh, no.
Remember when we were in elementary and we...
We looked for Wormhole!
We were so obsessed with wormholes. We would
don't say it, please. I'm so humiliated.
It's too late.
I'm so humiliated!
We would go out and hunt for wormholes out on the playground.
We would think they're in the clouds in the freaking road. We would think they're in the road. Remember? I was eating a cheese thing, right? And I dropped it. Do you remember this, Jared? And I was like, oh, it fell in the wormhole. It must have fallen in the wormhole, and it turns out it was just blowing across the road.
Yeah, there's simple explanations to why the cheese wrapper is not there.
Oh, that's just... It must have fallen through a wormhole. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but that was good times.
Oh, man. And then when he was swinging, you actually thought you traveled through a wormhole once. Do you remember that, Jared?
Oh, yeah.
When you like swung like really high, like you've never, gone that high before, and you thought, oh my gosh, I must travel through a wormhole. Which actually, if you think about it, we were smart for 5th graders. Because we actually knew what wormholes were.
And plus, wormholes could exist on Earth. Right? Now, they don't have to exist in space.
Right.
At microscopic levels.
Excellent lead-in. Wow. Excellent lead-in, Jared. Excellent lead-in. Wow, that's awesome. But first, before we get ahead of that, okay, let me, work my magic, my brain here. Because, okay, now we have notes here, but I'm gonna just try to explain it as I see fit, Because these are just notes. They're not,
Yeah.
They're just guides. So, space-time. Okay. Concepts of time and 3-dimensional space found in a 4-dimensional continuum. Now, let me say that again, so you can wrap your brain around this. Space-time is the concepts of time and 3-dimensional space fused in a 4-dimensional continuum. So, let me give you the lowdown, in case you guys don't know. Okay, there are 3 dimensions. Okay? 1, which would basically be like a line. Basically, all dimensions are, guys, is like... You know geometry, right? Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The 0th dimension would be just a dot. Okay? And... No, wait, no. Hold on a second. Yeah, 0th dimension would be a dot. 1st dimension, a line. 1st dimension... 2nd dimension, another line. Added to it, 3rd dimension, our dimension. You add some depth to it. Like a square becomes a cube. Or a sphere becomes a circle becomes a sphere. And stuff like that. But the 4th dimension, can you guess what that is?
What?
Time. 4th dimension is time. But, it extends past that. 5th dimension would be a parallel universe. 6th dimension, the 6th would be, like, theoretically, the whole multiverse. And then 7 and 8 goes into things like quantum mechanics and all that. Like, it goes into, like, just, it's, all you guys need to know is that there were not just 4 dimensions. Like, people think that they're upwards to 11 dimensions.
Now, would dimensions have a play in parallel universes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because isn't a parallel universe like a different dimension?
It's the 5th.
The 5th dimension?
Yeah, listen. Dimensions aren't what we think they are. Dimensions in movies and film, which, it's another place. It's, another reality, but no. The basic form of the word, dimension, is a mathematical term,
Yeah.
It's a term used to describe shapes, basically. And describe, points and, lines and stuff. Now, I don't know how they came up with that time as the 4th dimension, but oh, yeah, they came up with it because, a timeline,
Yeah.
Like, they formed it, all that stuff. But yeah, so,
which we could probably go into... we could go into the dimensions in the parallel podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Parallel universe podcast.
Yeah, so this is just, it's... already I'm becoming, like, my mind's been wrapped in knots already.
Mm-hmm.
It's, like, 11 dimensions. What do you okay, here's the other thing, too, because, I didn't add this to the notes, but I really wanted to say this. And, Jared, you can talk about this, too, if you want, okay? We experience the 4th dimension, but we're trapped in the 3rd, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, because we
don't experience the past of the...
We just
future.
experience the now.
Yeah, we experience the present, yeah.
Yeah, and we just continue. We can't control it, right?
Right.
So, it just continues as planned.
Yeah, but trapped in third dimension. But here's another thing I would like to say too. To us, if there were second dimensional people, let's call them flatlanders. If they're flatlanders, if those kind of things were real, like second dimensional people, we would be like gods to them. Because they're trapped on a two-dimensional plane. So, like, they look up and like, oh my gosh, they're huge. Just like to us, fourth-dimensional beings would be like, gods, Ones that have all, a fourth-dimensional being would be is just, it would have control over that dimension. Like, it would have control over the aspects of it, Which, I mean, I've gone into theories about, like, God maybe just being... Because, about the whole, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, God the Trinity, the Holy Trinity. I've been trying to understand that lately, doing research, and, like, maybe God exists in, like, different dimensions. Like, God the Father, resides in heaven, wherever the heck that is,
Yeah.
Maybe
or
it's...
whatever you imagine it to be.
Yeah, maybe it's other dimensional. And Jesus, obviously, was here on Earth. And then the Holy Spirit is, in us. So, I mean, obviously, there's three... It's kind of weird to think about, because there are three distinct persons, but one being. That's how I think of it. I think of the Holy Trinity as three persons, but one being, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, three different...
But it's like, dividing out, like, being yourself, but multiple versions of yourself.
Yeah, not personalities. They're actual...
They're the same person, but split.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like if you were to cut yourself in, like, three different... Yeah. Like, best way I like to describe it is Harry Potter. Where Voldemort splits his soul into 7 pieces with those Horcruxes. Yeah, that's how I like to describe that, but yeah.
Or think of the Ben 10 character Echo, and it can split into multiple ones of itself. Yeah.
But the difference is, though, each version has their own morals, and... No, not morals, but own motivation, as, like, their own mission. God the Father obviously watched over the whole universe. Jesus, God the Son, was sent to die for us. And the Holy Spirit, the version that guides us. And, helps us make decisions. So, yeah. That's kind of cool. It's confusing, but it's cool to think about. Anyway, that's all going back to the dimensions, though.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what, yeah. I don't know. I mean, that'll be cool one day to ask God, hey, do these other dimensions exist, and explain it to me? Because he'd probably be able to do it like that, He'd probably be able to explain it like...
Or he could debunk everything and say that doesn't exist. All those different dimensions don't actually exist.
Man, if I was a god and he told me that time was just a concept we came up with, I might be blown. Like, that would be like, oh my god.
Like, mind blown.
Yeah, like, time is just a concept I mean, because, think about it. I mean, maybe time is just a concept we came up with. Like, it's just a point where we had to know something started.
Well, doesn't that have to do with, like, time zones, too? Because, like...
We touched upon this last week.
Yeah, with time zones, it's, time zones are where you have a different, like, the clock is different, slightly different, like, maybe an hour off or something like that.
Yeah.
And, like, in the U.S., how many time zones are in the U.S.?
Like, I don't even know how many.
I don't even know.
Something like that.
Something like that, but... Like, in the South, it's about an hour off. So if you go, like, I think it's in Dallas, like, if you're in, the Texas area, you're about an hour off, I think, than us.
That's basically time travel, if you think about it. Because you're going in a different area, like a time zone. Like, so the time is different. Yeah, it's a very small margin, obviously, but, I mean, listen. Why people say that doesn't, exist is because, listen. People say that time zones were only, like, created to divide, different countries because, Jill, let's face it, it would be stupid for the whole world to be on one clock. Like, everyone in the world having to get up at 6 a.m. and go to bed at, like, 10, Like, that would suck, Like, that's someone in China would have to go at the same time as...
Well, if you had that where the whole entire world was on one clock, different parts of the day would mean different things for each person.
Yeah.
So you might be, say, 6 a.m., but it's still, like, it's like, it's starting to get bright out in one place, but it could be, getting dark in another.
Mm-hmm.
So it means it's different for different countries and different areas.
Well, no. I mean, not if they
Yeah,
didn't
it was
even
because
come up.
it deals with the sun.
Well, not if they originally made the sun irrelevant to the time. Like, just whatever the time was is what it was. Like, it doesn't need the sun to,
Wait,
do you know what I'm
so
saying?
you're saying if the sun didn't have any play in this at all?
Yeah, like if we didn't use the sun to keep time, it would still be 8 o'clock no matter where you are.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need the sun. Like, you know what I'm talking about now, right? Like, when just...
Yeah, but...
Like, but it's
being
not like
realistic
that.
here, we're talking about the sun.
Yeah, it's
so
not like that.
It would be different. That's why we have to have different time zones, because it's like, 6 p.m. you think, oh, the sun's setting. Well, somewhere else, it could be rising.
That's why jet lag happens a lot of the time.
Yeah, like, there's some places...
Thanks, time zones, responsible for jet lag.
So this is the most realistic version of time travel.
Oh, yeah.
This is everyone does it. Well, not everyone, but most people do at some point in their lives.
My dad did it all the time when he used to travel for different businesses. Well, not different businesses, but for his job before he started his own thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, like we're doing
we didn't even realize it.
Yeah, you don't even think about it. You just think, oh, it's 6:30 here and, sit and 5 o'clock there, you know?
Now, listen, guys, we probably sound stupid, but listen. In the most basic sense of the word, time travel. We are time traveling.
Yeah,
in the most basic sense of the word.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
You're traveling to a different time zone. And so that's time travel.
Yep, exactly.
But it's just not the time travel that you think of, hopping in a time machine like the TARDIS or the DeLorean, and then going back to,
to whatever time.
Yeah, going back, let's go back to Abe Lincoln's assassination, and then...
Jared.
What?
Never mind, I thought you were Republican.
I am.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, like, what if you can go back in time?
Like, stop it, yeah.
Well, how about let's talk about that after we're done with the...
Oh, yes, please,
We'll talk about what we could do with time travel.
Yes, that's gonna be fun.
Right,
I can't wait, but let's get to this first, okay. Do you want me to explain this? Because I did a bunch of research on this. Do you want me to, or do you want to?
You go ahead and continue with the space-time.
Okay.
Go ahead and continue.
Okay, this is amazing. Okay, so as I said before, we got out from another way. Space-time is the concept of time and three-dimensional space trees in a four-dimensional continuum. But we have a problem. There are actually wormholes that exist here on Earth. But in a very, very, very,
microscopic
very,
level,
more than microscopic, actually. Way more. Like, 10,000 times more is the actual number for it. 10,000 times more than even microscopic. Listen to this. In order to travel to a wormhole, to actually get to a wormhole, you would have to shrink down past molecules, past atoms, past the electrons and protons that hold atoms together. So we're talking like subatomic now. Like, have you ever seen the movie Ant-Man? Where he versus the
I actually haven't seen that movie. I do want to see it.
Oh, it's all Marvel movies. I'm amazing, huge Marvel fan, but yeah.
Oh, I know. All Marvel movies I've seen have been great.
Yeah.
But I just haven't seen Ant-Man. I haven't come around to see that.
It's awesome.
Same thing, I haven't seen, like, the Volume 2 of Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't seen the full thing.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I know. It's like I started to watch it the other day, and then I couldn't finish it.
Yeah. Jared, if you need help with the timeline and everything, you can tell me. If you want help with explaining, like, what the heck... Because there's a bean in there, you probably won't know what it is, so I'll tell you if you don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, so you would have to shrink down to get to a wormhole, you have to shrink down past molecules and stuff, and you would even have to shrink past something called quarks.
Okay.
Quarks are a type of elementary particle, and a fundamental part of matter. Now, listen. These names are just... This is mind-blowing when you think about this, okay? Some quark names. Up. There's an up quark. Down quark. Strong quark. Weak quark. Like, it literally determines, like, what's up, what's down, what's strong, what's weak. Like, it literally determines, like, like, think about that. It literally determines, like, whether something's strong or not, whether something's weak, whether something's up or down, It's insane, dude?
Yeah.
Like, to get to one more, you have to shrink past that. Which in realistic science, Ant-Man got something wrong, I think. If he shrunk past, now I don't know. Because his body might contain, oxygen atoms in himself, but if you shrink past oxygen, wouldn't you die? From, lack of oxygen?
Because the oxygen can't get to you.
Because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't exist at that point. At that level.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's, yeah. Yeah, so it's tiny. Quarks in this case would be what electrons and protons are made from.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tiny. But that's not all. You have to continue shrinking past quarks even. So, okay, imagine this really quick, guys, okay? Now, a single, width of human hair, single human hair, could fit 10,000 atoms on it. A single width of human hair. Now, quarks are about 1,000 times smaller than atoms. So this is tiny. Like, you can't even see it with a microscope if you tried. You know? It's so tiny. Like, and we thought bacteria was small.
Yeah.
Like, this is... Like, Jaden, want to say anything about this? Like, this is crazy. Like, it's just, like... I can't wrap my head around it, you know? Like, what would you even see? You know? What would you see? Like, you know...
Wait, what would you see if you were able to shrink down to that
Yeah,
level?
like, shapes wouldn't even look the same anymore. You know? It would be like... People say if you shrunk down to this level, it would just be geometric patterns.
You wouldn't
That is it. That's it.
Well, you wouldn't be able to see the full object.
You wouldn't even be able to see it at all.
You wouldn't really be able to see it.
People think that if you shrunk down to this level, it would be like looking through a kaleidoscope, actually.
Ugh.
But being in a world like that, just, yeah.
Can you imagine that's the only thing you see is the kaleidoscope, and it's like, ugh.
No, not a kaleidoscope, but like actual, like, they call them, it starts with an F. You would see fractals. Like actual fractals that you could touch. Like, it's just like warping in and out, and it's just so, I mean, I don't know why, but those kind of shapes creep me out. I have like a, you know, something creepiness to that. I don't know why. I mean, I'm really weird like that, but, you know, you just be trapped in that kind of world. Like, think about that. It's just, you know, constantly, yeah, you would, and this is called the quantum realm.
Yeah.
And this isn't the plot of Ant-Man, don't worry. In that movie, he actually does do that, and, like, it's really unrealistic because...
Well, I mean...
You hear his daughter's voice calling to him from, you know, up on the surface, but that would never happen. Because the sound doesn't exist. So you wouldn't even be able to hear anything, you know? Like, the quantum realm is a real place. And it is here where wormholes are found. Yeah. This is where wormholes exist. If you want to go through wormhole, you have to get here. To the quantum realm. So, yeah, you shrunk down to that. So you can go through it, right? Well, no. Because, you see, in addition, having to be insanely small to even see wormholes. Wormholes, just like Joe was saying, wormholes open and close almost instantaneously. They instantaneously create and destroy themselves. So, like...
They're unstable.
Yeah, like that's how they form, you know? That's literally how... So you would have to be like the Flash.
And that's where, like, exotic matter, in order to, you know, help hold it.
Yeah, that's where that comes in. It has to be fed insanely. Like, it has to be fed an insane amount of matter, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's weird, because the quantum realm, it's, people think that, it's just Ant-Man, you know? It's just a place that Marvel came up with. No, it's a real place. Ant-Man is based in science. It's actually, people say it's the most scientific Marvel movie in the whole thing. Actually, Ant-Man. And I would believe that. I mean, because, you know, okay, Joe, what would you be freaking out if you were there? Like, if you were in that place? Like,
yeah, because everything's ginormous compared to me, and I'm the smallest thing there.
Yeah, like
that with the Thomas the Tank Engine scene, you know, like Thomas is humongous.
So you do know that scene, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one scene that I did see.
Yeah. That was actually a disc. He made these discs to where you throw them, you can grow and shrink stuff. It's really cool.
Oh.
But but listen though, dude, you wouldn't actually see that. You wouldn't see anything, actually.
Yeah, so that's where it got it wrong, right?
No, it actually showed that.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, it was pitch black. Like, it's just like, okay, you know what space looks like, right?
Yeah.
Count that black space but without stars.
Oh.
Just a pure black space. And it's like cold, it's, you know.
Walking into my basement.
Yeah, but it's like, you literally float. It's like, it's hard to explain. It's dark, very dark in the quantum realm. Very dark. Because there's no light. Light doesn't exist because light particles don't exist, you know? Yeah. It's very dark there. You hear weird stuff. Like, you hear really weird stuff. Like, you might hear like a sound of like a high-pitched whine. Almost. Like a tinging sound. If you know what that means. Like tinging, like just, you know, stuff like woman.
Like you're like ticks or something, like
noises. Like almost like a transformer almost. And it's like, what am I hearing? Well, what you're hearing is matter being formed. Yes, matter forms here as well. So it's just, like I said, dimensions. When you take into account that dimensions are pure mathematical patterns and stuff. this is where the quantum realm comes in. Because what did I say? I said that the quantum realm is just you'd see fractals and stuff, and those are geometric patterns, So that's how that comes in. It's just so crazy. Like, and then what would you do if you touched something, If you broke one of those things? Like, you'd probably mess up, like, you would implode the universe or something probably if you, like, went to, like, oh, what's this? Tap it, and all of a sudden everything explodes.
That's like trying to split an atom or something.
Oh, that's way more deadly. That's like, you're literally looking at creation itself. Like, literally looking at stuff making stuff. Like, oh, okay, that sounds stupid, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, it's like you're literally looking at, like, matter being formed. Like, okay, it's just kind of disgusting how it forms, but, like, the fractals, like, they go around each other, and then it's like it pukes out what looks like strings. And the strings vibrate. This is something called string theory. Have you heard about this?
Mm-mm.
String theory. So these fractals emit, from what I understand, it could be totally wrong here. But from what I understand, these fractals emit strings. And these strings vibrate, and that's what creates these quarks. And then, obviously, the quarks create the protons create the atoms, and it goes, in a huge thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, so it's really weird, like this quantum realm. I mean, I would love to journey there to see what it's like, but I wouldn't want to spend any more than... I mean, the bottom of the ocean's scary for me.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you can't... If we cannot even reach the bottom of the ocean, like the very bottom of the ocean, then
we can't, it's creepy as heck.
No, we can't, because the pressure of the water is more, like, dense or whatever, however you want to say it. And so basically a submarine cannot go to the very bottom because the pressure would basically burst the submarine.
I'm so sorry.
Everyone would die.
I'm shuddering because I'm just thinking about this video that I saw. Ugh. Remember that video where that submarine's at the very bottom of the ocean? It sees like that alien creature thing with like those long tentacles and stuff, and it was like, you remember seeing that?
No.
It's I'll show you really quick. It's
no, how about not now?
It's just you can look it up if you want. It's like a it looks like an alien. It's like it has like a flower-like head.
Oh, so this is a real thing?
Oh yeah, and it's got long appendages, and it's got freaking tentacles that go up to 20 feet down, and it's just like looking at staring at it. Like, it creeps me out, Making that thing tapping you, like, that'd be so creepy, no. But it's really innocent. It actually eats bacteria at the bottom, but it's still creepy, It's creepy. Like, after the podcast, I'll probably show you a picture. It's creepy. But anyway, what we're trying to say is that the bottom of the ocean is scary.
And plus our another thing with actually being able to travel through wormholes, you wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, if we cannot reach the bottom of the ocean, how can we go through wormholes?
How can we get to the quantum realm if we can't even...
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, because, like, obviously wormholes exist, but yeah, like, seriously. It's just so, yeah.
So who's the man that came up with all this, then?
Mr. Einstein.
Mr. Einstein.
He's a German. Those Germans did one good thing in life. They had the Nazis, but they also had one of the greatest scientists ever.
So he had a theory that he came up with called the theory of special relativity.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
And it says that time slows down or speeds up depending on how fast you move relative to something else.
Mm-hmm.
So, approaching the speed of light, a person inside a spaceship would age much slower than his twin at home. I don't know what it is with scientists and twins, but it seems like a very good example they tend to use.
Yep.
So if I
let me tell you something really quick. I'm sorry, I just think it's interesting.
Go ahead.
An example of this. You remember those trains that went up to space, right? One train stayed on Earth, the other. It was something that NASA did. Remember?
Okay.
They sent a twin up to space, and they had another twin down here on Earth. When he came back, guess what? His DNA changed. His DNA was different.
Oh yeah, you told me about
this. Due to separation
from
his twin, yeah. His DNA was different, so I found that interesting.
Yeah, and I do mention it... Oh, well, I guess I mentioned here, but I also mentioned it later on about how the twin on Earth is slightly younger than the one that was in space.
I think by like 0.5 milliseconds or something like that.
Yeah,
it's a very small amount, but he's still younger.
I mean, you know that twins are obviously not born at the same time, so therefore they're not the same.
So basically, if you think about it, they time traveled by a very small amount, but still they did.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah.
That is insane, actually. Wow.
There's time travel on Earth, and there's time travel with space, like,
obviously in space, yeah. But,
obviously in space, but you think, wow,
doesn't deal with orbit. Deal with orbit, yeah.
And within our own
orbit, that is crazy. Yeah. That is crazy. And also time dilation, right, Jared?
Yep, time dilation. It goes hand in hand with the theory of general relativity, according to space.com.
Absolutely love that site.
I use it quite often.
Oh yeah, I love that site.
It means that astronauts are time travelers essentially, which is what we were saying.
Yep.
But when they return to Earth, they would be slightly younger than their identical twin.
Assuming that they actually have one.
Yeah, which I just thought was funny because scientists, for some reason, they like to use the twin thing. Like,
yeah,
wait, but how do you assume that we have a twin? So, Aiden, you have a twin you're not telling me about here?
Exactly. Like,
like, what's up with this? Like, you gotta explain in theory if you had a twin.
Yeah.
Not just go say,
okay.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, okay, can I do something here before we move on to the next thing? Because
go ahead.
This is something that I want to spend a lot of time on. This, relatively in general. Because I want you guys to grasp just how much it can mess up your mind. When you find out this kind of stuff. Because remember, okay, so you've seen the movie, not seen, but you've heard me praise time and time again this movie, Interstellar, right? By Christopher Nolan.
Right.
You've heard me praise it, like, many times. Guys, first of all, if you haven't seen that movie, yeah. If you haven't seen that movie, go and watch it right now. It's amazing. Yeah, but anyway, they say it's the most scientifically accurate movie when it comes to wormhole stuff because the plot is that the Earth is running out of food and crops have basically gone to crap and, dust storms and everything. So they have to leave Earth to find a new home, So these 3 astronauts, they go on this trip with 2 robots, Case and Todd and stuff, They go on a trip and they find 3 planets orbiting a black hole. And this is what is nuts. Think about this. This would mess you up, Jared, if I was in their position. They go to this planet, and it's filled entirely with water. Exploring it, trying to find life. And it's so far out, they had to take a wormhole to get there, which is funny, because we're just talking about wormholes, but, yeah, they're at the other side of the universe, basically, right? And they go to this planet, trying to find life. And 1 hour on that planet, 1 hour, right? 1 hour can pass just like that, Like that,
Yeah.
Extreme time dilation on this planet. 1 hour on that planet equals 7 whole years on Earth.
Whoa.
7 whole years for 1 hour on that planet equals 7 Earth years. Think about that. So, in essence, what happens is that this crew tries to find a distress call for someone who died on that planet when they crash landed, because a wave took him over or whatever. And apparently, because it's a movie, they do jump cuts, obviously, to keep the tension, But the time they spent on that planet was like 3 or 5 hours. So 7 years times 3 hours, So, like, when they get back to... This is where it messes up your mind. In essence, they only spent about 3 hours on that planet.
Yeah.
But in reality, 27 years passed.
Oh my gosh.
27 years passed. So, there's a black dude who was like a scientist. He studied the wormhole. He's this black hole specialist or whatever, And they go to back, and he was only about 50, And by the time they get there, he's like 69 or something.
Wow.
He's like 23 years of. I'm horrible at math, so I'm probably dead wrong. But what you need to know is that 23 years passed. So think about that. That would mess you up, right, Jared? If you knew that 1 hour would be like 7 years.
Yeah, because what if you have family, which obviously most of you would, that you would want to come back to, and
they'd be dead before you got home.
Yeah, you'd be like, well, I don't want to leave my wife or something, and you leave your wife for 1 hour, and you're gone for 1 year. It's like
1 year, like with
a lot happens in 1 year.
Oh, dude, and like I said, with that planet in particular, 1 hour being 7 years, if you spend a whole year there, like, oh my god, it'd be like 100 years had passed. And this is the thing, the movie played with this. Because at the end, he goes to a black hole and trying to get quantum data because something in that black hole had the secret to save the human race or whatever. So, it's confusing, you need to watch it. But, he gets back and he gets saved. And when he gets back to this space station, he sent the quantum data over so the humans were able to actually, find out what was causing everything, and they, had food and they were able to make a colony and stuff, So, the space station comes and rescues them. And it's only been about, I think they were gone for, only about, 3 years on this trip. And his daughter is 90 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And he's still, 40 or 39. Yeah. His daughter's about ready to die. And he's only about, 40 years old. So he's still, my dad's age, you know?
Wow.
That's nuts. If you think about it. Time dilation, it messes you up. You know, it messes you up big time. It's just, yeah, Jill, think about that, you know? You're an astronaut, right? You go to this other side of the universe. And you get back, you get stuck in a black hole, whatever, you finally get out because they have the technology to do that, you know? And you come back and your daughter's 90 years old. And you're only about, 39 or 40, you know? How would you feel, you know? How would you feel if that happened? It would just be, oh my gosh. Man, that's just, oh my gosh. That's just, I would be I don't want to go. If I knew that it would be like this, I wouldn't want to go on this trip. No way. I stay behind here on Earth.
Yeah, you better read those terms and conditions before you head out.
That was a,
Put a lot of thought before you check that box.
Yeah, when they say, in that tone, when they say read the contract, read the contract.
In that case, yes. If you're reading a contract over buying subscribing to Netflix or something, I don't think you need to worry much about that.
No, but when you're traveling across the whole universe to save the human race, you better read that contract. Seriously, time dilation will mess you up.
Yeah, that's something you should know.
Jared, seriously though, how would you feel though if you got back?
What if you didn't know that time dilation was a thing, and you went out into this blind, and you're just well, I'm just gonna come back. It's only gonna be,
a couple years.
Just a couple years. It'll be fine.
Listen, thank God that this is real. Thank God. It's actually by law that before astronauts go, they have to teach them about time dilation. They have to. So that is really good, actually. So that they expect to, they know what to expect. That's
the same thing with training too. You
have to mentally prepare for what you're gonna.
And physically prepare, because that's why they spin you around in that thing, because it's see if you can stand up to it.
In Interstellar, that's how they propel themselves. The little ship attached to a bigger wing, and that's how they propel themselves. They had there was a funny joke in the movie where it's do you know what Dramamine is? Dramamine?
No.
It's a drug that helps you cure you when you're very dizzy.
Okay.
And they were spinning, and they weren't used to it yet, and the guy's hey, I'm getting dizzy. Make sure you bring Dramamine. Make sure you bring a lot of it. And they have, cases of Dramamine just, stored in the back. It's hilarious.
That's good.
Yeah, but, it's true. He's make sure you bring a lot of Dramamine. I'm feeling very dizzy,
That's funny.
Yeah, but, man, I would not... You're older than the person you raised. You're younger than the person you raised. Think about that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, so, I'm going to tell you guys that because... that is what time dilation is. I just gave you the full picture. That's just,
Wow.
I don't know if I'm gonna be an astronaut after that. No way.
No, I definitely don't want to be one. I thought it would be cool, but then when you see all the different things that play into it, it's nah, never mind. I'm good.
Well, it depends. If you want to do a long distance trip, heck no. But if you just want to go to the moon or something,
Oh, yeah, I would do that.
Mars, yeah, heck yeah. But if you leave in the solar system, no way. If you leave it, no. Okay. For me, the point would be leaving the galaxy. That would be the stopping point for me. No. No.
Yeah.
Totally
different time
over there. Yeah.
Alright, let's move on here.
Yeah.
So then we can keep
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Go ahead.
Okay, Planck length. Joe, do you want to talk about this since I've talked about the previous two things? You want to talk about this?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, you sure? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Planck length. Excuse me, jeez.
Gross.
Yeah, I had some in my phone.
He had a loogie.
Loogie. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, so Planck length. It was discovered by Max Planck in 1899, and the Planck length is the smallest known distance in the universe. It is. Now, be prepared, guys. This is insane. It is 1.16229 38 times 10 to the negative... No, times 10 to the 35th meters. Which is tiny, very, very tiny. So tiny that it's about 10 to the 20th power of the diameter of a single proton.
Wow.
So, you think protons are small. Yeah, it's insane. So yeah, that's a small. And why are we talking about this? Because as we said, this is where black holes black, not just wormholes, but black holes too. Black holes form here too. So this is the size we can enter the quantum realm. This is how you can theoretically time travel. So in order to time travel, you would have to get to this length, this Planck distance.
Okay.
It's insanely small. It's insane. It's crazy. It's just, at that level, who knows what would happen? Because it's all theoretical, as we've been saying, Jared, so how do you know that your body just wouldn't get ripped apart of every single, atom in your body, Your body would probably be crushed, or it would be spilled be stretched so much that you don't know what would happen, Like, do you have any ideas what could happen,
Nope.
And we don't want to know.
No, I don't want to know that.
Yeah, it's insane. Alright, so, another thing. Another way to time travel that is not as risky. You don't get ripped apart by photons. Suspended animation.
It's a little bit more peaceful.
Yeah, suspended animation. Alright, another way to time travel is to be put into suspended animation. But known to us as cryostasis. So this is, cryostasis is, it drastically cools down your body to negative 196 degrees Celsius. Where you are frozen in hopes that with future technology you'll be awakened. So Jared, would you try this? There's a lot of controversy that goes into cryostasis. Because we don't have the technology to thaw you out yet. So would you do this? If you had an illness, like cancer or something, would you freeze yourself if you knew you were going to die?
No. I don't, especially when bringing it back to a religious standpoint. Why would you want to do that? I mean, because you realize that you are going to be in a better place than what you are now. So, it's like God's trying to tell you that your time's up on Earth. He's gonna.
Well, you're gonna die by being frozen anyway. So I mean, listen, dude.
Well, no, you're not really dying.
The way I think about it, your soul's not limited to your body, dude. I mean, if you're frozen, God knows. Okay, that's a form of dying. So because you're never gonna be thrown out probably. So.
Well, yeah, but
God's hard to figure out, hey, that's a form of dying.
So that plays into it. Why would you want to do it?
Because you're still in heaven anyway. You're still in heaven. You leave your body, dude. Your body is just...
But then why would you want to do the suspended animation if you know for a fact that nobody's going to...
yeah.
You see what I mean?
You just die and be buried. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because wouldn't you want to just have, a place where your family could, mourn if they want to?
Not
he's buried here.
Not get trapped in a, Yeah.
That's creepy.
But what it could be... Oh, dude, can you imagine, having to have that job of walking but by the side of those tanks and knowing that there's humans in there?
Yeah, or if they have, like in the movies, if they have, a screen... Or
a clear... That's what I was saying, yeah.
Where you can, look in and see them, and you're like, oh, okay.
That's creepy. They just have visors over their eyes.
That's if you go to, a funeral, you see open casket, but this is, you see them...
They're kind of still alive. They're kind of still alive, actually. They're, brain dead, but they'll, Yeah, have you ever seen that movie, Lost in Space?
No, I haven't.
The part where they freeze themselves always creeped me out for some reason as a kid, and now I know why.
Yeah.
They would, seize up and go, and you would just be frozen, and it just creeps me out. Whenever I see that scene, it still creeps me out. But cryostasis is still in its infancy, obviously. And it's highly controversial. Highly controversial. Because, obviously religious reasons, but also just ethical reasons. Why would you want to freeze yourself if you know that you're just gonna die? Just accept your death.
If you knew for a fact that there would be someone that's gonna wake you up, if you knew that technology was getting to that point, then you'd be
oh yeah.
Then you might kind of want to consider it. But if you know for a fact that they're never probably gonna come up with that sort of thing, why would you want to risk it?
Yeah, but the thing about cryostasis is that, they call it cryonics, actually. It's a very, the fictional nerdy term that fans of movies use as cryostasis, but it's actually cryonics. What they say is that, it seems easy in theory, though. Because, all you have to do is, take it like a blowtorch, just melt the ice,
Right.
When you're ready. But it's a whole body, so, it's a lot harder than it seems. And let's get into some biology here. Ice would form in your body and pierce through. Ice crystals would form and pierce through stuff like cells and yeah. So I don't think that cryostasis is the best. You would go to open it up, and let's say the screen thing is real, you see the body. One day you go, and it's like, the screen covered in blood. Like, what the heck happened? There's just blood covering the whole screen, and it's just, like, a shards just pierce your heart and stuff, That's why it happened, yeah. So you can't, there's so much blood, you can't even see the person, yeah, that would just be, And it seems like it came out of nowhere, but in reality, the shards forming your body pierce your skin and stuff, so yeah. Yeah, so anyway, but it does have some benefits. If they can learn to control it, and not have ice shards form, this could be used for space travel, right?
Yeah.
This can be used for space travel, long distance space travel. So, in essence, if they can perfect this technique, it would eliminate you to have the feeling of time dilation, and you have
so time dilation would go away in that.
Yeah,
case.
From you having to suffer from, that. Well, obviously, when you go on the planets, you still have to, contend with, going back, but I mean,
unless you have everyone go into, suspended animation on Earth too, that would be the only way to not have them age.
Yeah, it's just...
Like, if your family was to do a suspended animation, they would go in and they'd be like, well, while he's gone on his mission to whatever planet, then we'll go into suspended animation, so then we're the same age when we get back together. Like, wouldn't that be a possibility? If that was
but why, though? Why,
it wouldn't make any sense, but... Maybe so then, maybe your kid will be older than, so you won't,
Listen, you can't beat relativity. You just can't. The relativity, you can't beat it. You just can't beat it. You just can't beat it. It always wins, somehow. Relativity always wins. Yeah, so, anyway, to conclude this part of it, like the quiet part of it.
Keep going.
Yeah, to conclude that part of it, trips that would take 5, 10, or even 20 years, it'd be that. It'd be like being thrown under for anesthesia, surgery and stuff. It would just be like that. All be here already, Yeah. So that does have its benefits.
Or it's like when you go to bed, you don't realize you've been in bed for 8 hours, You just wake up and you're like, wow, that was quick, You don't, you're not, I guess not, what's the term? I don't know, you're not there, really, you're not...
Yeah, you're still processing stuff.
You're not processing stuff, so you
correctly,
don't have, a sense of time.
Yeah. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting, because we are going to give you some evidence.
Yes, there are some instances where time travel may have occurred.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
I got about 4 of them here that I was going to throw at you.
Okay, this is going to be amazing.
Yes, this is the most interesting part. This is what most people have been waiting for, because you hear it all the time if you look at time travel. You hear stories about where people say, I, come from this time period, and
8250. Yeah, somewhere like that,
and you think of them as some lunatic, but there's a lot of different instances that you could be like, well, maybe that does...
This is plausible. There's evidence for this.
Yeah, maybe it actually did happen.
Yeah.
But, of course, this is all, just stories that this actually, was reported.
Yeah.
But, you don't know if it's made up. But
the human mind can... some kid could have been down in his mom's basement typing the story up.
Yeah.
People. Yeah.
So, one of them, the first one that I'm going to say is called the time travel murder.
Oh.
Now, this is something like you'd see in a Doctor Who episode.
That's just the grandfather paradox, is it?
No.
That's a whole other thing, but yeah.
It says, there was a woman who was murdered in London. They did a DNA test from which they can get the DNA from they got on the scene.
Yeah.
And they ran the DNA samples through the database and found a woman matching that DNA, which is great.
Yeah.
But obviously, the woman that committed the murder was actually found dead a full 3 weeks before the victim was killed.
Whoa.
So how did this happen? And
there's a bunch of logical explanations for this. Well, not a bunch, but one. Now I'm going to reference a movie here, obviously. The Dark Knight Rises. There's a thief that they use their fingerprints and stuff, and they, copy they draw blood and stuff, and they're able to, match the same DNA because of that,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they did that to the point where, they extracted blood, and they smashed it on the ground so that, it would show, the same DNA right next to it.
Now there's a chance,
that's way too complex, though. Why would you go to that trouble of...
they looked at everything. They double-checked to make sure that there wasn't any mix-up, it got sent over it got mixed up with this person's DNA when it wasn't supposed to. So maybe this maybe someone framed that lady and she didn't realize they made a fatal mistake. She was already dead.
Yeah, and they made sure that no one got not fingerprints, but a version of that.
Yeah,
and no one duplicated it on purpose in order to get away. Yeah,
yeah, and they got this is kind of unrelated to the time travel person, but I guess they got the DNA from the fingernails because they got in a fight, and they the lady that got killed, she scratched the other lady.
Maybe the scratch caused the whipple. That. It was this Pokemon. It was ultra effective. It was mega effective. It's so effective that you go travel through time, but
but they double checked everything and didn't get it mixed up, but everything was correct. But take it as you may. Make your predictions, whatever you think about it. But so they think that it might be a actual time traveler.
That was interesting. Alright.
So the next one is a drive back to the past. Now this is a really interesting one here. This is according to IndiaTimes.com.
Oh.
Back in 1988, Strange Magazine 2 published an article written by Ken Meox, I guess is how you say his name, titled Time Traveler. Okay. The article was about the shocking account of a man who would go by the name of L.C. Back in 1969.
That name.
L.C. and his business associate Bob, which is a fake name they used, were driving along Highway 167 towards the oil center city of Lafayette after finishing lunch in the southwest Louisiana town of Abbeville, United States. It was the 20th of October, around 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon. The day was perfect with a blue sky and cool breeze. Up ahead, they spotted an old turtleback auto going really slow, which is a car.
Yeah.
They were intrigued by the vehicle. It wasn't something either of them had seen before. Very unique and definitely antique. Which kind of rhymed there, but...
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Even though the vehicle looked like a blast from the past, it was in mint condition. The two overtook the vehicle, but not before slowing down right next to it to check it out in detail. The car had a very distinct, large, bright orange license plate with the year 1940 clearly printed on it, which is quite odd because antique cars like the one in question weren't allowed to be driven on the road unless it was being used for a ceremonial parade.
Okay, I was about to ask, is it just, someone that customize the car
and was dressing up,
Yeah, customize the car and stuff, but no.
Yeah, so things just got weirder from there. The person driving the car was a young woman dressed in what appeared to be a vintage dress from the 40s, complete with a hat and a fur coat.
Jeez, what?
There was a small child as well, dressed in a heavy coat and a cap. As they pulled up next to the car, the lady started panicking. One could make out her face going pale with fear. She frantically started looking back and forth as if she was in the middle of somewhere unknown. So what do you think? She could, warp to a different time and she didn't even know it. And as if she really needed some help, she was almost about to cry.
Aww.
Elsie asked her if she needed any help, to which she responded in the affirmative. But
Wait,
at no... I guess no.
Yes?
Or yes. Yeah,
because she affirmed that.
Yeah, stop,
that she needed help, yeah.
But at no point did she roll down the window or even look at him or look him in the eye. After requesting her several times to halt the vehicle, they finally saw her pull off over on the side of the road. Elsie and Bob passed her and pulled over in front of her, but as soon as they looked back, the vehicle was gone. Like nothing. It just poof.
It vanished?
Yeah.
What the heck? Okay, can we talk about this one for a little bit?
Another vanishing story.
Well, this isn't...
There's multiple vanishing ones involving...
Yeah, but, this one is just... Okay.
Yeah, so I found that really interesting. It's vanished in the thin air, and this was a highway without any traffic, so disappearing like this would be quite impossible.
Yeah,
without being noticed.
The vanishing part is not what gets me. The part that gets me is just all the details. Of, the license plate, and the lady and the child, and how she was actually panicking, and how, what the heck? I mean, it could have been that...
That gives me the shivers.
Yeah, that could have been someone on LSD. Although I don't know why you would give a kid that either.
On this website, I did see some very questionable ones, so that's why I didn't use those in this one.
You wanted some actual,
I used someone that sounded like it might be something
Yeah, like this is creepy. I actually got goosebumps from this. Oh my gosh! Like, how would you react to that?
Oh no, I would be reporting. I would be telling everybody like, you won't believe me, but the car disappeared.
It disappeared out of nowhere. Oh my gosh!
So that was definitely that's a good one there. I don't know what what do you think about it? Do you think it's real? Do you think, or it could be?
This is definitely real. This has to be real. Like, and this goes back to now. I don't know if this story is actually on here. Yeah, this is on here, but this goes the 1940s part reminds me of something else, of a photo I saw.
With that one guy that was he was dressed in different clothes than the others, right?
No, it's
not that
even
one?
weirder.
Oh.
It was a guy, just a picture, people like to take pictures of the street, people walking down the street, and there's this woman, and she's dressed in 1940s attire, but she appears what appears to be like an iPhone. In the 1940s. I'm like, what the? Like, what is that? Like, that is weird. Like, that, someone probably photoshopped it in or something.
I mean, and there's also different things. They said there were hearing aids that were getting developed during that time.
Yeah, so maybe that's what that was,
so,
yeah.
how, like, you got those big, like, when cell phones came out, they're like blocks. So,
yeah.
Okay, can you imagine what a hearing aid is? Like a big horn, like a big tongue funnel on your... Can you speak up, Sonny?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so I don't know what that is. That was probably just like a fake picture, but yeah.
Anyways.
That's interesting nonetheless, though, so...
Yeah, so the next one is... It's titled News 11 Years Before Actually Happening.
Okay, this is gonna be awesome.
This is from a book called The Little Giant Book of Eerie Thrills and Unspeakable Chills. Again, this is another occurrence according to IndiaTimes.com.
Okay.
According to the authors of this book, back in 1932, newspaper reporter J. Bernard Hutton and photographer, that's an interesting name, Joachim Brandt, was sent to do a feature story on the Hamburg shipyard in Germany. After completing their assignment, just as they were about to leave the premises, they heard the sound of aircraft engines, only to look up and see the sky full of fighter planes. The anti-aircraft batteries opened fire and bombs started going off. All of a sudden, this place had become a war zone. Things were exploding, buildings were collapsing, there was death and chaos everywhere. Before rushing out to save their lives, Hutton even asked a security guard if there was something they could do to help out, but was asked to immediately leave the area instead. As the two drove to Hamburg, things changed. The sky cleared up and everything was back to being normal. There was no blood or violence. Buildings were fine. No one seemed to panic. It was as if nothing had happened. When Hutton and Brandt looked behind towards the shipyard, they couldn't spot anything wrong with it. No damage, no smoke came from the buildings. Shocking. The newspaper office obviously didn't believe the two.
Yeah, because why would you?
What? It's all gone? It's...
like, nothing happened. Like, guys,
we didn't get any reports.
And plus, we just saw a city get the living crap bombed out of.
Yeah.
Like,
you'd think that would be in the news, like, right away.
Yeah.
Even the pictures that Brandt had been taking during the attack showed up everything to be normal.
What the?
Can you imagine that?
Okay, here's what I'm thinking. What do they mean by fighter planes? Because my mind immediately jumped to maybe, like, it's a time travel more than just the city, but maybe the fighter planes are actual F-16s. Like, how do we know that they're not, I mean, that's, my mind is just going off on a tangent here, but, I mean, they're probably World War II planes, but yeah, I'm just thinking of that. That'd be creepy if it was, like, F-16 planes. So, how do we know they're not,
Yeah.
That's weird, though, jeez. Like, you just saw a whole city get bombed.
And it continues it gets even more interesting. The shipyard looked as good as new. Their colleagues dismissed their claim by deciding that they must have stopped on their way for a drink, and it was the alcohol making them see things, which is reasonable.
Yeah.
Most people would think that. Bernard Hutton later moved to London just before the Second World War began. In 1943, what he read in a newspaper one morning almost made his heart stop.
Oh, no.
It was a story about a successful raid by a Royal Air Force squadron on the Hamburg shipyard. The resemblance was uncanny. This was an exact representation of what he and Brandt witnessed 11 years back. How could this be possible? Could this be another example of time traveling existing? Do you think?
Either that or a vision from God.
I don't know.
Something. Like...
Yeah, that could be like a vision from God, basically.
Or it could be time travel. Like, I think... Because, okay, listen. Alcohol's out the window. Alcohol is out the window. LSD's out the window. Because, listen. You didn't just see the fire. You actually felt the heat and stuff, you know?
And you're running for your lives, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think that would have to be some strong stuff. If you imagine all that.
Well, PCP is very strong, actually. But, like, making you see... LSD, you can actually feel sensations and stuff. A lot of research on it, but yeah, like nothing that intense. No. Like it's just okay. What do you think, Joe? Like the whole. Let's break it down just a little bit. The whole thing is just weird. Like it's just 1932, just after the end of World War One. So they would have still had these new World War II fighter planes would have just been being created probably around this time.
Yeah.
So what do you think happened to them?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's almost like, how, different times are mixing and they're not supposed to. Like it was a mistake and
Yeah. That's weird.
It I guess, ran over into another time and this is not supposed to be there.
Yeah, sorry, well, I'm pausing, guys. There's just some weird things happening outside. It's just
making some weird noises.
Yeah, Jared, we've heard Alexa go off. We've heard tapping out the window. It's just
you heard tapping?
Yeah, I heard something against a window, dude. I heard someone tapping against the glass.
Okay, well,
it could be a tree trunk, but yeah.
There's no tree trunk close to the house, so I don't know what you're hearing. That's
kind of like in movies, like when a boy tries to little walk to a girl's window, kind of like that.
Oh, please no. Oh.
Yeah. That I'm probably just paranoid and hearing things, but yeah.
All right,
anyway,
so there's another one.
Guys.
The man who traveled back in time to become a Wall Street scam artist. It's another instance listed on the IndiaTimes.com website. On the 28th of January 2003, a certain Andrew Carlson was arrested and detained by the police for insider trading at the Wall Street. It's insane, really. Over a 2-week period in the stock market, Andrew went from having $800 to making, wait for this, $350 million.
What?
It's like whatever he invested in turned into gold. It is nearly impossible to make the kind of profits he did. And so
I've heard about this story, actually, yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
He was
insane, guys.
That's good. He was arrested by the cops on the allegation that he must have been an illegal insider, had illegal insider information.
Yeah, basically they think an inside job, and he said no. This is basically...
Yeah,
this is what I did. This is how I made my money.
And his answer to the cops' questioning was... But when asked why and how he did this, the cops weren't really expecting what Andrew had to say. He claimed to be a man from the year 2256.
Yep, 22, yep.
That's a long time.
I've heard about this story, actually. This is interesting. Yeah, it gets weirder, guys, too.
Since he was from the future, he knew exactly how the stocks were going to perform. Obviously, the cops thought this guy was chatting utter rubbish. But get this. Soon after he was released on bail, the man disappeared from the face of this earth, and even after repeated attempts, he couldn't be found. So was he telling the truth? Who knows? But get this. Carlson predicted the exact date of the U.S. invasion of Iraq.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That is scary.
Oh my god. Okay, this is just... Oh my gosh.
This is that's the scariest one right there.
Okay, listen. Oh my god. Not only will you... Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just flipping out because I love time travel, obviously. Me and Joe both, buddy. Okay, the bombing plane was scary enough, but oh my... Being able to predict stocks, first of all, and then predicting the date that...
Now this would get me. What if he was betting on, on a game or something?
Like on Back to the...
money.
This is a lot of Back to the Future, too. The guy, a boy... He has a sports almanac from 2015.
Yeah,
and
what if he used that?
I think you've seen that. You've seen parts.
Oh, yeah.
You're not talking about in that movie.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, I've seen the movies.
Yeah. But this is creepy. This is was he an angel? And was he this is insane.
Crazy.
Okay, what do you think happened? Just real quick. What do you think happened?
I mean, the only thing I can explain is that he is a time traveler. I mean, how can you not... if he disappears off the face of the earth, he even has a picture of the person. So we know what he looks like.
You have to show me after the podcast. You have to show me what it looks like. But
yeah.
This is insane.
I got a picture of this guy.
This is insane, dude.
So
oh my gosh.
Aiden, with today's technology...
Went from having 800 to 350 million. That's a lot of money. That's like a lot of money. But
no one can do that.
No one.
Just like the article said, no one can do that.
How long did you... Over a 2-week period? Heck no.
Yeah, so this had to be something out of the ordinary. You can't do... No regular person could do that.
Either that or next topic, parallel universes. Something. You know?
Yeah.
This is insane. Like, okay. So to close this off, let's take a look at this really quick, okay? Maybe, okay, the exact, when they said the exact date of the invasion, they meant the exact date?
Yeah.
Like, the time,
from what I understand.
To the exact hour that it happened?
Well, I don't know about the exact hour, that's pretty, but still the exact date, though.
Yeah. Like, that's nuts.
I mean, not many people know, like, what time were you eating breakfast? Maybe 10 o'clock. You know, nobody knows exactly what hour.
Yeah, but that's not the point. What's the point is that they knew the actual date of this.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
That's like, predicting the end of the world. No one can do that. Like,
no.
So how did he do that,
Yeah, maybe he was Jesus. I mean, that's either that or he's a time traveler, which I think is a time traveler, but, I mean, okay, but listen to this. The reason is, why did he do it?
I don't know.
Why? Why would you think? Why do you think he would come back to 2003?
I don't know, it's crazy, but I'll definitely talk to you more about that.
This is just nuts. I mean...
Alright, before we run out of too much time, let's move on to the Weekly Geek Freaks!
Yes! Okay, so...
We're gonna have to run through it fairly
very quickly here, yeah, okay, so... I watched an awesome movie last night. This film's called, Moneyball.
Okay.
It's a baseball movie. It came out in 2011. It's about the, Oakland Athletics. Now, I'm gonna start off with the quote here. Iggy Mantle once said, "It's unbelievable how much you don't know about the game you've been playing your whole life." Well, obviously, we're referring to baseball here. And that rings true now more than ever. Anyway, so, think about this, guys, okay? You have a team, the Cleveland Indians. They're really, really good, and they have a salary cap worth $138 million, right? And this is according to BotTrack.com. Then you got a team like the A's, who only have a salary cap of about $71 million. Huge difference, right? You're probably thinking, well, higher salary caps mean access to better players.
Yeah.
Well, that's not always the case. You see, in 2002, Oakland, with only a budget, listen to this, guys, only a budget of about $41 million, was able to win 20, yes, you heard that right, 20 consecutive games, and have one of the best seasons in all of MLB history, even beating out the Yankees, whose payroll at the time, whose cap was, get this, $200 million.
Wow.
So a $41 million team beating out a $200 million team.
Yeah, that's seemingly impossible.
Yeah, that's nuts. Now how is this possible, you may ask? With something called sabermetrics. According to Wikipedia, sabermetrics is the empirical analysis of baseball, including stats that measure in-game activity. Sabermetrics were first designed in 1977 by a guy named Bill James. Bill thought that a lot of people, even fans, misunderstand how baseball is actually played, that it's actually defined other than the conditions under which it is played. Basically, getting down to the very basics. Ones win ball games, and a good measure of a certain player's worth is simply his ability to help his team score runs. Specificity doesn't matter. Also, if done right, this method would render scouts almost useless. Because let's face it, a lot of the time, when scouts pick players, and then it turns out they're not as good as the scouts originally thought, and they just wanted a bunch of money recruiting this player, I mean, they just wasted a bunch of money. Basically what I'm trying to say is, let's say you get, a guy that you think is really good,
Yeah, and you spend all that money to try to get your team to be better.
Yeah, and it turns out that he's not, as good as you thought. Well, sabermetrics eliminates this by only looking at the numbers of last season and using that to determine the best decision of who to pick. If you ask me, it's pretty foolproof, I mean, there's a lot of disadvantages, obviously, like, people get better over time.
And the different team that you got the different teammates you're surrounded by.
Yeah, yeah, that kind of thing, yeah. Like, people help each other out, yeah. Now let's talk about the Oakland A's, very specifically now. The 2002 season, guys. This is one of the most greatest seasons in all of baseball. The A's record was 103 wins and 59 losses. Led by Billy Beane, who was a general manager. The A's season started off horribly. They lost 3 free agents. Like 3 players. Jason Giambi, Johnny Damon, and Jason Isringhausen.
J&J.
Yep. So faced with this new challenge, general manager Billy Beane replaced Damon and Giambi with free agents Scott Hanneberg, David Justice, and Wade Durham, along with many others. With these changes, they won 20 consecutive games going into the ALDS before losing the series to the Minnesota Twins. Now, how did they do this? Guess, Jared. With sabermetrics. They used purely numbers to recruit these players. And they won 20 consecutive games and got to the ALDS before losing to the Minnesota Twins. But ALDS is pretty far if you ask me.
I would say.
Like, that's crazy.
With how bad apparently your team was, that making it that far is good.
Yeah, and like I said before, to close this part of it off, yeah. Like, Jared, I mean, is it practically unheard of for a small budget team of only $41 million at that time to beat the Yankees, who are like, let's say $200 million?
Mm-hmm.
They can afford the best players, the best, equipment, the best training, You beating them, like, that's unheard of. So that's insane. Like, that's just nuts. That just goes into a bunch of, there were gonna be critics. They're gonna be critics of this that say, hey, you need actual, relationships with the players and stuff like that. But if done right, this can be a lot of, this can be done right. So, yeah, there's a book about this guy. It's called, Moneyball. If you want to check it out, it's on Amazon. It's awesome. It's an awesome book.
If you have a hot minute.
Yeah. No pun intended. Minute. Okay, so Jared. I hope that Nintendo's doing something.
Although I think we're running out of time, so we're gonna have to roll that over into the part 2.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Alright, so
we had a very short weekly Geek Freak this time, but that's just because we're running a long time in this podcast. But like I said, we're gonna have a part 2. Parallel universes, and then I will talk about, which Aiden was starting to say, Nintendo's E3 plans.
Yeah, so those are gonna be big. Wait till you guys
Yeah, because I want to be able to spend a little bit more time on that.
Yeah.
But Aiden definitely was really excited for the baseball, so I wanted to let him get that.
Yeah, thanks, bud. It's insane. Yeah, so, this has been all for good.
Yep, and thanks for everyone listening to this podcast. Please like and subscribe to our channel, and see you next one. Bye.